Before the bright festival lights, before viral dance challenges, and before DJs in London, Lisbon, New York dropped it in sold out clubs, there was a sound rising quietly from the streets of Gauteng. It didn't come from expensive studios. It didn't come from big record labels. It came from small bedrooms, from township taverns, and from youth who had very little except creativity. That sound was Amapiano, a word that means the pianos. But what truly made it powerful was the feeling behind it. A slow rhythm, a deep rolling bass, and a groove that doesn't rush you. It pulls you in. This is the story of how that groove traveled from Soweto to the entire world. And to understand that journey, we must begin where it all started, the townships of South Africa. After apartheid ended in 1994, South Africa entered a new chapter. Freedom had arrived, but life was still hard for many black people. In the townships like Alexandra and Mamelodi, young people faced high unemployment, crowded living conditions, and limited opportunities. But they also had something powerful: culture. And if we know South Africa, music is very, very huge in their culture. Music was everywhere, from street corners to family gatherings, from church choirs to house parties. And in the late 1990s, a genre called Kwaito became the voice of the township youth. Kwaito was slow, heavy, and confident. It mixed house beats with local slang and everyday stories. It celebrated freedom after years of oppression, and it told young people, we are here and we matter. At the same time, deep house music, which was inspired by sounds from Chicago and Europe, was growing in South Africa. But South African producers changed it. They slowed it down. They made it warmer. For years, these sounds lived side by side. Kwaito on the streets, deep house in the clubs. Then slowly, they began to blend. Producers started adding soft piano chords over slow house beats. They stretched songs longer. They focused on mood instead of quick radio hits. And without anyone realizing it at first, Amapiano was being born. By the early 2010s, young producers were experimenting with software like FL Studio and other digital tools. Many had no formal training. They learned from their friends, from YouTube tutorials, and from trial and error. Then came a sound that will change everything: the long drum. Mark this, the long drum. The long drum is not a traditional wooden drum. It is a deep electronic bass sound. It slides, it rolls, it almost feels like it is talking. Instead of hitting hard like EDM drops, it moves smoothly. One of the key figures shaping this sound was Kabza De Small. He focused on long, emotional instrumentals. His tracks felt patient and layered. Then he joined forces with DJ Maphorisa, a producer who already had international experience. Together, as Scorpion Kings, they helped define the Amapiano formula. Their music often followed a pattern, which was a calm intro, soft keys, light percussions, then slowly the long drum enters, which was rolling deeper and deeper. The tempo usually sat between 110 and 115 beats per minute. That slow speed gave dancers some space. It allowed people to move comfortably. It made the music feel smooth and not rushed. Amapiano didn't explode. It built slowly, and that patience became its power. But something interesting happened next. Radio stations didn't immediately support Amapiano. Some DJs felt it sounded repetitive. Some executives didn't think it would sell. So the streets took control. Music spread through WhatsApp groups. Producers sent MP3 files directly to DJs. Taxi drivers played unreleased songs while driving passengers. And backyard parties became testing grounds for the new sound. Of course, the Amapiano sound. If a song made people dance in a township tavern, it was automatically approved. YouTube channels began uploading long mixes, sometimes over an hour long. Comment sections filled with fans asking for track names. This was the organic growth. No marketing budget, no corporate strategy, just the South African township community. Soon, clubs in Johannesburg and Pretoria could not ignore it. The crowd was demanding Amapiano. And once clubs embraced it, the movement became unstoppable, just like any other song around the world. Once it starts banging in the clubs, it's unstoppable. At first, Amapiano was mostly instrumental. It focused more on the groove, but over time, voices began to shape its identity. Artists like Shasha added soft, emotional melodies. Her vocals made tracks feel romantic and replayable. Then came powerful singers like Young Stunner. His voice carried gospel emotion mixed with township confidence. Lyrics spoke about love, faith, struggle, celebrations, and gratitude. Now, crowds were not only dancing, they were singing along. Producers began structuring songs with strong hooks. Call and response sections made live shows electric, and female vocalists brought balance and depth. Their voices added sweetness to the heavy bass lines. Amapiano became more than a DJ genre. It became storytelling through rhythm. And just as it was finding its voice locally, something unexpected happened. The internet took it global. Dance became the bridge to the world. Moves like bouncing cat, smooth shoulder rolls, and Bacardi footwork started appearing on social media. TikTok changed everything. Short dance clips went viral. Young people across Africa, Europe, and the Americas began copying the moves. Diaspora communities in the UK helped push it further, and clubs in London started hosting Amapiano nights. DJs mixed it with Afro beats and UK sounds, and African superstars began using the long drum bounce in their music. Burna Boy experimented with similar rhythms, bringing even more global attention to the style. Streaming numbers grew rapidly. Playlists on Spotify and Apple Music began highlighting Amapiano tracks. The reason, some people ask why. It was simple. Anyone could dance to it. You didn't need any special skills. You just needed to feel the groove. And the groove was universal. And as global attention increased, so did economic opportunities. DJs who once played in small taverns began touring Europe and North America. Townships festivals grew bigger each year. Even promoters built brands around the piano session and Amapiano Sundays. Fashion also became part of the movement. Streetwear inspired by township style gained popularity among young people. Dancers became the influencers. Producers became the entrepreneurs. And for years, global audiences mostly associated African pop with the West African Afrobeat. Now, South Africa had its own strong global export. Amapiano showed that innovation could come from overlooked communities. It became a symbol of confidence for young South Africans. A statement that said, and I quote, "We are not copying the world is listening to us." And they were right. the world was listening to them. As the genre matured, it began to evolve. Different styles appeared. Private school Amapianos brought smoother, jazzy sounds. It felt more polished and relaxed. Underground versions kept things raw and straight focused. Some producers added live instrumentals like saxophones. Others introduced gospel choirs. Some experimented with electronic synths. In places like Berlin, DJs mixed Amapiano with techno. In Brazil, producers added long drum patterns to baile funk. The sound stretched across cultures, yet it kept its slow and patient growth. And with success comes criticism. Some people said too many songs sounded the same. Others argued that the long drum formula was overused. There were debates about who truly started Amapiano, whether it began in Pretoria or Johannesburg. There were arguments about credit, sampling, and ownership. And at the time, people were asking if Amapiano was losing its roots. But history shows that every powerful genre faces doubts. Hip-hop faced criticisms. House music faced rejections. Afrobeat faced skepticism. And Amapiano adapted. Producers became more creative. Vocalists told deeper stories. Collaborations expanded the sound. And instead of Amapiano collapsing under pressure, it matured. By the mid-2020s, Amapiano was no longer a trend. It was a global movement. International music festivals booked South African DJs in primetime slots. The lock drum became instantly recognizable worldwide. Music schools are studying its culture. Cultural analysts are discussing its impact. But beyond the charts and headlines, something deeper has happened. Amapiano had changed how African youths saw themselves. It proved that you do not need massive funding to create global culture. What you need is just creativity, a community, and consistency. Because from Soweto to New York City, the journey tells one powerful story. That local township resilience in South Africa can become global. And as you close your eyes, you can hear the piano, you can feel the lock drum roll in, and you can let the rhythm settle in your chest. You don't need to understand the words or the lyrics of the artist, because Amapiano speaks through movement. And the beat, it is still building, it is still growing, and it's still moving the world. If you love content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you on the next.